So Klondike Derby is kind of like a combination between a race and scout events, and it has a theme to it, and it involves pulling a sled around the park, around camp or wherever the Klondike is held. They hold them in parks, they hold them in campgrounds, they hold them wherever they can get the space. So I'll give you a little example of what a Klondike sled looks like. That looks, you know what, I'm going to change the resolution. That's not going to work, sorry.
Is it like Santa's sled?
No.
That is definitely
They have reindeer. That was recommended.
I know, I'm just going to put it back there too.
Yeah.
Okay. At least you can see it. At least you can see it. So that's kind of what an old school Klondike sled would look like. And I would like, so the way we're going to work it tonight, I'm going to ask a question. One person's going to answer really quickly, and then we're going to move on, okay? It's not going to be everybody answers every question, okay? So what do you think is a good thing about this sled, and what do you think is a bad thing? If you raise your hand, make sure you have an answer.
It's got like the rail thingies that keep it going.
Okay, this like the bottom rails,
Yeah.
the skis,
I have a notice
the runners. They're called runners on a sled. Somebody name something that's not great about that.
It looks really flimsy.
Flimsy? Might be flimsy. It's a trade-off between weight and sturdiness, I would say. And then, so that's an old school one. One of the other things that's rough with that is it's got curves in it. How many of you guys have seen boards that are curved like that at Home Depot? Nobody, right? So that's kind of a difficult thing in terms of building a sled. So when you think about sleds that look like this, outside of the Klondike, where have you seen a sled like this before? Somebody else. Where have you seen a sled something like this? Somebody else. Come on, quick. Ooh. You can get more chairs. There's more chairs in the hallway there if you need more chairs. You know, shoot the underneath. We're going to be here a while. Okay.
Mr. Collette, I think Darius wants to answer.
Okay, Darius.
When you have this, the dogs pulling you on the sled.
Dog sled racing.
Dog
So
sled.
if you're gonna research a sled, maybe looking at dog sled racing is a good place to start, right? So that's kind of what I did a little bit, and this is an actual dog sled. All right. So I would like somebody to tell me what they think is a good thing about this and a bad thing about this particular sled. Other people. Tagan, right? Excuse me, guys. We got a lot to go through, and you got to respect people that are talking. Okay? I gave you each your turn. You got to respect them. So go ahead.
So when they're standing and somebody else can sit in that seat.
That's one good thing about it. Yep. So it can carry a person, maybe gear too, right? And that's something that might not be good about it.
Me?
What?
Me?
I can't hear you.
Were you talking to? It doesn't really have side railings, so it can't really hold a lot of stuff.
That's actually, yeah, you're right. That one doesn't seem to have much way of containing stuff that's in it. You might be able to maybe secure a backpack to it, maybe sit a person in it, but it's not really meant for carrying too much gear. One of the other things a couple other things about it, it's wooden runners on the bottom. So maybe there's metal under there. Maybe they put some metal strips. It's possible, but this one might be designed purely for in the Arctic. Okay, we're gonna do one person for each question, and we're gonna move on. And the other thing is this has curves too. It's kind of hard to build something like that. So then I went out and I was like, okay, well, how do scouts build the same thing? And well, actually, another thing that's nice about the last two sleds though is that they're pretty minimalistic and light, right? There's not much to them. You could probably pick that up, anybody in here, all by themselves, okay? That's one of the good things about it. Another thing I want to point out, it's kind of hard to see on this screen because it's so small up there, but it folds. It folds down. You can take out the pins, and this whole sled will fold down. It's got some rope that's strung around the front. It holds that front rail to the front, and you can unwind the rope, and the whole thing will just fold down, which is great because you can put it in mom and dad's car, and you can bring it wherever you got to go. Now, an example of a Scout one would be this. So what are some pros and cons to this sled? Yep, so it has rope on the side to contain the whatever equipment you're going to put in there or people. That's a good thing. What's maybe a bad thing about this?
I believe they use a lot of metal for it, and metal hurts a lot when you get hit with it.
It's not a ton of metal. There's metal along the edges of the skis, but that's about it.
And that's sharp, and that can hurt someone really badly.
So, go ahead.
Doesn't look too stable. Like if you set that up down like a really steep hill.
Well, believe it or not, because of all these lashings and the crisscrosses back here, which are really important, we'll talk about that. It's pretty stable. The thing is it's all roped together. The whole thing is roped together. So if you wanted to fold that, you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to fold that down. So that's one of the negatives of that. But otherwise, it's pretty lightweight, except for maybe the decking. But it's probably heavier than the other sled that we looked at, right? You probably can't pick that up by yourself, given the wood decking that's. So can anybody tell me what the basic shape of that sled is? What do you think it is?
Kind of like a triangular prism.
That's it. The triangle. So that's how we're going to kind of draw the sled. Now we're going to go into kind of talking about the design of the sled, okay? So, will that shape hold itself up if you just left it like that? No. Okay, no. And that's because of what? This is the side, right? Will that shape hold itself up? It's kind of a trick question.
No. Oh, sorry.
Depend.
No. 'Cause
Why?
it's 2D shape.
Well, yeah. Okay.
You said it was a trick question.
That's what I was gonna say.
Whoa,
Okay. Now it's 3D.
that's amazing.
So, what happens when you have a cardboard box and you open up both ends of it?
You see what's in the box?
Like,
It like flattens.
it flattens, it folds down. So we have nothing in here right now that acts like the end of a box. This is open all in here. This is all currently open. So remember I was telling you about the ropes at the back? They're extremely important. They create the equivalent of the end of the box. But all they have to do is secure the corners. Okay? So, when we're designing this sled, we have to design it to the specifications of whoever the committee is that's making up the Klondike Derby.
The KD.
It's anywhere between 18 and 24 inches, and one I found said it must be 24. So unfortunately, I don't have a committee to design to, so I'm going to go by gut feel, and maybe if we reuse these in a different year, we may have to adjust them a little bit. But they usually have to be a minimum of 6 feet. So your skis have to be at least 6 feet.
Is that 6 feet on the ground, or is that 6 feet including the bend? To know.
I don't know. I'm going to say from here to here.
All right.
Okay? So, and we need to leave a little bit of runner space over here. So I'm giving you the constraints of our build. We have to be constrained by it. We're going to keep moving on. Sorry, I'll answer questions later because we got a lot to go through. So the other thing is it has to be at least 18 inches to 24 inches. Here. How many feet is 24 inches?
I don't think these girls can see it.
Oh, sure. How's that? Better? Sorry about that. How many feet is 24 inches? 2 feet. So, another constraint we have is, well, budget and the size of the boards we can use. It just so happens that the typical board that you can buy pre-cut, I mean, we sell bigger ones, but the typical one that we can fit in our cars is about 8 feet. All right? Who can tell me something else about the that might relate to numbers? Trick question, sorry.
The height.
Height, nope. For something else. I'll give you a clue. If I tell you that the sled is symmetric, what kind of number would you associate with symmetric? Do you know what symmetric is?
Even.
Same on both sides? Back of the room? No, just a number. If I say the word symmetric and it's the same on both sides, what number might I be thinking of?
1.
Amen.
Huh? No. 2. If something's symmetric, my arms are symmetric, my legs are symmetric. There's 2 of them. Okay? So along the sled has 2 of everything. And we have to keep our boards within 8 feet. So if we were to pick boards that were 5 feet long and 4 feet long, what happens?
They're not symmetrical.
It's not symmetric. We haven't cut it symmetrically, and we're now needing an extra board for an extra foot. So when we're designing this, we want to try to do it in a way that all these numbers add up to 8 in some way, shape, or form, so that we use the least number of boards possible. Okay? So we're going to say, because this is 6 and this is going to be shorter than 6, let's say that our length from here to here is going to be 5 feet. Right? That's okay because this is longer than the bed. This board, if I had to pick a size for that length, it's going to be less than 5, but I want it to be one of those symmetric numbers. What was the symmetric number? 2. So multiples of 2. So what number would you guess would be good for that side?
6.
6, but this whole thing is 6. This is 5, and that's smaller than the 5. 4. Let's go with 4. And if this front piece has got to be between 18 inches and 24 inches, what size could we pick?
24 inches.
Anybody else? Go ahead, somebody.
21 because that's right in the middle.
21? That's not a multiple of feet.
20?
Right?
20.
18? 12? And 12 is how much? You're going to do 2 feet. It's 12 and 12 inches, 24 inches. Right, so 24 inches is what we want. So 2 feet. Well, that's 2 feet, that's 2 feet, that's 4 feet, that's 4 feet. We're guessing now, right? We're just trying to keep it like, what's another number? 2 plus what equals 8? 6. What board on here might be 6 feet? Come on, we need some other people raising their hands. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. Davis?
The width.
The width? No, it's already 2 feet, we said.
I was going to have a 6 foot wide, 4 foot long.
Oh, the angle going down.
Yes. I'm just guessing now. 2, 4, 6. We haven't picked this height for this part yet. 3?
If you make the hypotenuse 5, then the height could be 3. Perfect.
Might be. So these are rough numbers, right? These are rough numbers. Now what do we do? Now we got to prove it. We got to prove it. So we're going to do a little math. Let's put in all our things here. Sides, front, back. We'll call it front, back. We've got the very mathematical term hypotenuse. I heard it called out. I don't even know if I'm spelling it right. Is that spelled right?
Or the radius around the unit circle.
I'm pretty sure that's hypothesis.
Hypothesis?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Well, I don't know what to call these uprights in the back. I call it. And actually, I do this kind of not how
Why don't we call it mean state?
those actually aren't there. This is going right down to the ground.
Well, why do you call a car a car?
All right, so let's plug some stuff in. How many of you guys have seen the spreadsheet?
I love spreadsheets.
Spreadsheet's like a big fancy calculator in a table.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what a spreadsheet is. Oh, that was horrible. Wow. That is not what my
Double
spreadsheet
click
looks like.
between D and E.
What the heck? You know what I can do? I can do this though. Let's do that. All right, so we have our sides. We said they're what? 4 and 4. Our front is how much? Help me out. Be quiet. 2. Let's pay attention and not be rude. 2 and 2.
2.
Oh, I already did back here. So the back, the uprights, we said what?
3.
3. The hypotenuse, we guessed
5.
6. Well, you know what? Well, we'll do that for now, but we may have to actually figure out what that is specifically. And then, is that
6
I
millimeters.
feel like I'm missing something. Oh, the handle. We need our handle.
2.
Am I missing anything? Oh, good guess.
Yeah, the sled.
Glad you have Mr. LeBlanc here.
Mr. Collette.
Yes,
And last time we made them, we also put wheels on them in case of snow.
we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. We're designing for the snow right now. Okay, so we got 2, 2, 2. We got 3 2s. We got 2 6s. We got 2 4s. And 2 3s. So let's add that up. Here's where a spreadsheet is fantastic. We don't have to type it in even.
Mr. Collette, what about the part between the bottom of the base of the thing between the skis?
Talk about that. Okay, so let's sum this up. That's the formula that you have to do. You use a thing called summing in a spreadsheet, okay? So I'm just going to type in the word sum. I'm going to select all these things, put in a parentheses, hit the enter key, 32. Wow, that's pretty amazing. 32. It came out to a round number. Why is that? Or it came out to an even number? Because? Yeah, you're right, mostly. You're right, 3, but we have 2 3s. And 2 times 3 is? And that's a what kind of number? Even number. It's an even number. So they're all even numbers in the end when they add up. And so, how many times can 8 go into 32? 4. 4. We've got 4 boards exactly. That is pretty lucky when you think about it. We're lucky. So, to do this project, we need 4 boards. Here's the problem though. As Darius was pointing out, what are we going to do? I mean, we kind of have an idea what we're going to do on the sides, right? What are we going to do on the sides? What do you think? Based on the pictures you saw. What was the best option to hold the most gear? Lashings, like rope. So we're going to have rope all the way down here. We've got rope already back here. We might put a little more. But what are we going to do for the floor? What's going to go there? Okay, what's the problem we said with the other Scout sled? What was the problem with that?
It's heavy and it couldn't fold up.
It's still, yeah, it's heavy and it couldn't fold up. So how would it be lighter? Max?
Maybe you could use that
Tarp? It's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Tarps are kind of reasonably cheap if you get them at Ocean State. That might be an idea. What's something that you have that might be in your backyard that you hang between 2 trees? No shouting out, please. Come on. Yes. So, what do you guys think about the idea of making the bottom of the sled like a hand? Hello?
I don't know if it sags and we have to go over a rock or something, that might get a little rough.
If it sags. But does it have to sag? This whole base is a box. This is not a hammock. It's a box.
It's not a hammock.
It's not a hammock. So.
Oh,
it's
you
not
mean kind of
size.
like a woven piece of fabric, like a hammock?
Yeah. What if you make rope into the shape of a hammock? What if you learn how to do a hammock weave? You do a hammock weave down there. Possible, right? And it's going to be pretty darn light, right?
It would look really cool.
Yeah.
Plastic projects would also provide structural integrity to the sled
great idea. And if there's one that somebody can scrounge up that fits in that 4 by whatever box, that's perfect.
I might.
You might? Oh, that'd be fantastic. If we can get a couple different builds that look different from one another, that's great. Then we can figure out what idea works the best. Okay, what's on to next?
3.
Cost. Cost. What kind of boards do you guys think we should build or use for these parts here? Wood. What dimension of wood do you think would be reasonable for a sled? Wait, hands please. Hands please. 2 by 2. Interesting. We have one vote for 2 by 2.
Maybe 2 by 1, but
1 by 2. What does 1 by 2 look like? On the end, it looks like this. 2 by 1 looks like this.
8 feet, so we can split it up.
Okay. And what your vote?
A handrail.
A handrail.
Circular.
Handrail. All right. And then let's see. That's 1 by 2. 2 by 2. Handrail. I'm not sure what that is. That's 4 by 2.
2 by 4.
Pros and cons of each of these, really quick. 2 by 2. What's good about it?
Strong.
Strong.
Heaviest.
Let's shout out too much stuff.
Sorry.
1 by 2. What's good about that? Lighter. What's good about a handrail? Easy to grip. I like that. Might be good back there, right?
Bendable.
And it also does not. One of the things about round objects and round corners, like on your cell phones or whatever, is that they tend not to break. They tend not to shatter. The corners tend to be weak points and things. Yep, that's why. Okay, what's something bad about 2 by 2? Something bad. Something bad. It's heavy. Okay, it might be heavier. Yep. Is it as heavy as a 2 by 4? 2 by 4s are what we kind of build our walls with. How about for the 1 by 2? What's something bad about the 1 by 2?
It's not as strong.
It's not as strong. Which way is it not as strong?
So like as. Oh, shut up.
No. We don't need to do that. You don't know? So this way. If you were to push on it this way, on the wide side, it tends to bend on that flat surface. If you were to press here, like an I-beam, it wouldn't bend, it wouldn't deflect as much, okay? So if you were to build the rails, you'd get out of this, you would get strength in one direction, but maybe not another. And what's something that might be bad about a circle in terms of building a sled? Anybody? Yes, good job. Yes, it's hard to connect 2 circles together like that. How are you going to nail that? You need some sort of like
Angular truss.
Yeah, well, you need connectors basically. I'm trying to think of those old plastic gear sets and stuff. They had the plastic tubes. You know, they slid into each other. But you need something to slide it into. Okay, so as it turns out, at Home Depot, if you go to get a 1 by 2 or a 1 by 3, they're actually not really good quality. In addition to it deflecting, there's knots in them, there's splinters, they're not straight. There's a lot of problems with 1 by 2s. 1 by 3s even is a little better, but there's still problems with that. And while this is nice and strong, it's typically made out of good wood, they're more expensive and they're harder to join together. So I'm going to suggest that we do 2 by 2s. Okay? Because they're lighter, but they're pretty strong. I actually went to the store and I sat, I was worried. I was like, okay, well, can I hold a person on that side there? And I sat on it in the store with a 5-foot length or 4-foot length, and it held me just fine. So you have, 1 second. We have not just this, but you also have the support of all this stuff up here. So when you put something in there, the weight is actually distributed on this and this. So if I can sit on one board, and now we have 4 boards, it should be able to hold one of you guys or your gear.
You can sit on 4 boards.
Okay? I made a mess out of this drawing. But, so let's start talking about prices of things, okay? We have to price this thing in a way that is reasonable for us to build. There's one other extra piece I didn't talk about, and that's how would you connect these boards to the ground? Where's the down one? Over here. How would you connect them to the boards in such a way that they'd be foldable? So in the other, let me bring up that other image just so you can see what it was. It's going back a ways. Right, so I don't know. Let's see if we can blow that up. You see what it's got at the base of the legs? How many places have you seen those?
Uno.
Where?
On a ski mountain.
You've seen, no, not the skis. These I'm talking about, sorry. Those connectors. How many places, where have you guys seen those connectors before?
On the sled.
Kind of, yeah. But loose in the box, kind of hard to find. Kind of hard to find those loose in the box. I looked around. Can't really find them. The only thing that's similar to that is the supports for a dolly wheel. But then you have to pay for a whole dolly wheel just to check out the wheel and get that. So can you think of anything else that bends like that can bend make two pieces of wood bend?
A hinge.
Ah, that's right, hinges. And hinges are, anybody think you can get a hinge at Home Depot?
Yeah.
Really easy. So you get hinges. So we need hinges, and we're going to think about it. We're going to try hinges unless somebody has a better idea, which I'm all open to better ideas. After this discussion, go home, think about it. Let me know tomorrow if we've come up with a better idea for any of this, and we will see if we can work it into the design, okay? All right, so keep thinking about it. So hinges. So now let's start thinking about pricing this thing out. We've got 2x2 lumber, okay? It's $2.98 for an 8-foot board, okay? So this is kind of, whoops, I don't want to bring up that, that's the finished one. Where's my Excel sheet? Here we go. So the boards, we have 4 boards, we said, right? And they are $2.98 a piece, all right? Let's just go through and get the prices on here first. And actually, you know what? I'll do this. I'm going to do board. I'm going to label each. 4 of them, $2.98. Now, let's get to the part about wheels. Sorry. Wheels are kind of necessary in Rhode Island because we don't live in the Arctic. There is no snow on the ground right now. And there's a very good possibility there will be no snow on the ground when we do the Klondike Derby. So when we build sleds here, we put wheels on them. Okay? That's something we're going to have to talk about tonight and see if anybody's got a better idea. Aubrey brought in some wheels.